All attendees are in listen-only.
On the other side, the defined benefit plan, the company is footing the entire bill for everybody that's in the plan. Here at American National, we offer an entire suite of retirement plans from defined benefit to defined contribution, whether it's a 412 or a cash balance or traditional defined benefit. On the other side, whether it's a profit share or 401k, Roth 401k, Safe Harbor 401k, we offer all of these options to our clients. And when you submit your proposed request and census form, we will design a plan that works best for their needs and their goals and their aspirations. We'll take all of that into account. I did remiss to mention at the beginning, if you have any questions, please, by all means, put them in the question center. And at the end, if there's time, Jim can read them to me and we'll go over them. Otherwise, contact Jim and I'll be more than happy to answer them afterwards. So you're talking about a retirement plan to your clients. And, you know, the best one is your client's like, well, my CPA said because I'm a sole proprietor, I can't do a 401k plan. I can't do a defined benefit plan. I'm not allowed a qualified plan. I've got to live with a separate or simple. That is no longer the case. It hasn't been the case for a while. But my point is, just because you hear no, don't turn away. Have them complete the proposal request and census form. It's simple. It's easy. Tell them that you're going to submit it to your back office. Your guys are going to go to work for you, and they're going to come back with a solution, customized, personalized for your client. Go ahead and get the census. It doesn't matter what type of entity they are. We even do them for nonprofits. I'm doing one for a church right now where the pastor is going to have a 401k plan. So, you know, I know you don't want to tell the client they're wrong, but look, I've got a group of experts. Let's get the census done, and they'll tell us what you can do. And we'll come back with a great solution. Okay, I know you said talk to my clients, but who else do I talk to? Well, you should really talk to everybody, whether it's your current book of business, whether it's all your new prospects. You need to talk to everybody. It doesn't matter if they have a plan. It doesn't matter if they don't have a plan. As we say, we want you to make it a habit to mention pension. Talk to everybody. Everyone needs retirement. It's front and center with the government. Even the government's talking about retirement needs. I mean, of course, they're talking about health care as well. But, you know, Social Security is a whole other topic. People are living longer. People are retiring in their 60s and living for 20 and 30 years. How are they funding that retirement? We need to make sure we're talking about this to our clients. Okay, I understand. Talk to our clients. Who else? Well, retirement plans, one of the big things about retirement plans is that tax break. Who better knows the client's tax needs than their CPA? If you have a relationship with a CPA, by all means, talk to them. I tell my agents, do a client appreciation dinner. You pay for the dinner on behalf of the CPA. The CPA is going to fill the room with, I don't know, maybe the first time only half a dozen people. But those half dozen people are going to be pre-certified warm leads. Small business owners in need of a retirement plan, in need of tax deductions. The room is filled with certified warm leads. They already have the CPA's trust. The CPA is bringing you in. You're paying for dinner. It's a great opportunity. Now, a lot of you on the call here today are small business owners yourselves. You're sole proprietors. So I challenge you to complete a proposal request and census form. Send it in. We'll see what we can do for you. Not only that, but you'll go through the process, see what the process is, how it's done, what the timeline looks like, what our proposals look like, what the implementation process is like. At American National, if you do a plan with us, because you're an agent, we will waive your setup fee. If you have 3 plans with us, so yours, plus 2 more, we'll waive your annual fee. No setup fee, no annual fee. Free. Now, you know, and I know that compliance doesn't work that way. They hate that word. And I just call compliance the anti-business unit because, to be honest with you, sometimes they just get in the way, don't they? But we will waive your setup fee and we will waive the annual fee. The only fee would be the assets fee or ancillary fees, like if you took a loan on your 401k or something of that nature. Here's just another list of some more people to talk to. But my point is, again, talk to everybody. Well, I know Joe's a client. I've had Joe a client for the last 20 years, but he works a regular 9-to-5 job. But there's no reason for me to go and ask Joe about his qualified plan. He works for somebody else. Well, in today's day and age, maybe Joe has an Etsy account, or maybe he's on eBay. My point is, he might have a side business. Maybe he builds websites on the side. So yes, I understand Joe has a 9-to-5 job, but the taxes are killing him on his consulting business on the side. Talk to everybody. So we want to keep it really simple. Our proposal request and census form is available to you. We keep it available to you on the website in PDF. Jim can get it to you any way necessary. You can email it to the client. You can fax it to the client. You can email it back to us. You can fax it back to us. We want to keep it simple, but that's all we need. Pique their interest, get that form completed, and send it in to us. That's what we need, is just that information. And that way you don't have to talk about any type of specific plan. Look, I've got a group of experts that I work with that work for me. I'm going to submit it to them. They're going to come back with a personalized solution for you. Okay, so if they don't have a plan, well, Mr. Client, do you realize that by not having a plan, it might be costing you money? Well, that makes no sense. You're asking me to put $30,000 into this plan. How is it not going to cost me any money? Well, let's talk about that really quickly. Let's say you have $30,000. If you take the money and you keep it, you're in a 20% tax bracket. You pay $6,000 in taxes and you put $24,000 in your pocket. That 30 is actually $24,000. Well, let's take the same 30 and put it inside a qualified plan. That 30 is 30 because you're not going to pay taxes on it. It's tax deferred now because it's in a qualified plan. I just saved you $6,000 in taxes up front. Not only that, but the contribution is a write-off. That's a $30,000 write-off at a 20% tax bracket. So, Mr. Client, by not having a plan, it might actually be costing you money. Maybe you need it for employee retention or employee morale. Your competitor across the street is offering this benefit to their clients and you're not. That's why you're losing your clients, losing your employees, excuse me. So there are more than one reason why you have a plan. But if they have an existing plan, Mr. Client, when was the last time your plan was reviewed? Mr. Client, do you have the old plan or the new plan? Maybe when your client set up the plan, it was him and 2 employees. The business has been successful. What does that mean? It means he now has 5 employees. The business has grown by 100% in size. Maybe the plan needs to change because obviously his goals have changed. So even if they have an existing plan, maybe we can reduce his fees, offer him better service. Doesn't matter if they have a plan or not. Talk to everybody. Make it a habit to mention pension. So if they have a plan, if they don't have a plan, the key to the puzzle is designing the plan, making sure the plan is designed correctly. The Roth 401k is one of those plan designs. When I was talking about the new plan or the old plan, I was also referring to this. Maybe when their 401k plan was set up, Roth wasn't available. Or maybe the addition of the Roth feature was too expensive. The addition of the Roth feature in our plans is free, no additional charge. We automatically include the Roth feature if you want it. I call the Roth 401k plan the great equalizer. Why? 2 big problems with the Roth IRA, right? Your 2 big problems are if you have the audacity to make too much money, sorry, you can't play. You make too much money. If you can contribute, what's your other problem? Well, the most money you can put into it is $5,500, not including the catch-up. The catch-up takes you to $6,500. I mean, it's not a bad day, but what happens if you could do more? The great thing about the 401k plan that has the Roth feature is, first of all, there is no AGI requirement. We're not allowed to discriminate in 401k plans. I don't care if your client makes $1 million a year. They now have access to Roth. They can make Roth contributions in their 401k plan up to $18,000 a year. The catch-up provision in a 401k plan is not $1,000. It's $6,000. They can now do $24,000 a year in Roth contributions. This is qualified, tax-free retirement dollars. And guess what? We're not even asking them if they're insurable. This is a way to have qualified, tax-free retirement money. Safe Harbor 401k plan. This is where the majority of your business is going to be. Now, it's poignant because the deadline to set up a Safe Harbor 401k plan is October 1st. One of the Safe Harbor requirements is the plan exists for 90 days in its first year. So again, assuming we're setting up a new plan for your client, 30 days backed off of December 31st, October 1st. Takes us a couple of weeks to set up the plan. Our deadline is mid-September. So there is time to still set up Safe Harbor 401k plans for 2017. There's just not a lot of time. And there's two types of Safe Harbor. There's a non-elective and there's a match. Basically, the match is just that. If they don't put anything in, you don't have to give them any type of benefit. You're only going to match what they put in up to a 4% threshold. It helps save money for the client. The non-elective is if you wanted to do a bigger, better plan, and that way you're obligated to give every employee that's eligible 3% of their income. And we take that into account when we design the plans. We've been doing this for a very long time. We know that when we design the plan, we have to sell who? We have to sell the client. So when we design our plans, all of our plans are structured to benefit the client the most, the owner the most. And that means giving the employees as little as possible. We understand. And that's the way we design our plans. Now, we can always pivot. We can show you one plan design. That client comes back and says those magic words. Can we do more? Yeah. We'll show them more. Happily. So, again, this is us talking about the Safe Harbor requirements. Last, there's a Safe Harbor notice. That's something that we provide. We will make sure and walk you through the process step by step. Going back to plan design, here's a SEP IRA. The thing about your SEP IRA is what you give yourself, you give everybody else. In this example here, the owner decided to give himself 15%. That means he's giving everyone else 15%. The plan in this particular example costs $62,800 or 15% of payroll. Now let's take that example and let's just change it. What we're doing here is called the new comparability profit share. If you look, the budget's the same. We spent the same budget, $62,800. But with the SEP, the owner got half the plan, asset-wise. In the new comparability plan, over 80%. Do you think the client would want to look at this? Do you think we could get their interest or something like that? So this is called the case for 401k plan. It's a 401k plan versus a SEP. What I showed you previously was a profit share. This is a 401k. And what it says here is that the 401k will beat the SEP 95% of the time. And these are just two examples. One of the key things here is the 401k plan has that catch-up provision of $6,000. That catch-up provision does not exist in a SEP. So if your client is age 50 or older, the 401k plan beats the SEP not 95% of the time, but 100% of the time. So if your client says, yeah, I know I've got a SEP, that's my CPA put it together for me, I know it works really well, and yeah, but what happens if we could do more? And that's, just go back and look at those numbers. Do a lot more, right? Just because they have a plan, don't walk away. Let us see if we can help them, if we can improve on what they have. Let's flex our muscles a little bit. Show them what we're made of. Let's talk about a defined benefit plan. This is the other side of the spectrum. The defined benefit plan, the company makes 100% of the contribution. So if they have a lot of employees, they're going to be shelling out a lot of dollars. And that's why you don't see a lot of these plans. With that being said, they are making a huge comeback because of the Pension Protection Act of 2006. In this scenario, we have 3 employees, and which normally, or should I say what's typical, is the owner is older and makes more money than his employees. Excuse me. In this particular plan, the target budget is $119,000. So that's the target. We explained to the clients that this contribution is meant to be made on an annual basis. Of course, I'm sorry, excuse me. All of that is a tax deduction. It's an expense to the company. They get to write it off. The tax deduction itself pays for the employee's contributions and then some, especially if they're in like a 30 or 40% tax bracket, or if you're in California or something like that, maybe even a 50 or 60% tax bracket. So what did the Pension Protection Act do? It allowed flexibility. Per the previous slide, we told you that the target contribution is $119,000. At the end of the year, our actuaries send out a letter saying, Mr. Client, it is time to fund your plan for the 2017 plan year. The minimum required funding is $54 and a bit. Your maximum allowed deduction is just over $180,000. Please fund somewhere within this range. Again, knowing target's $119,000. Client had a really good year, and he decided to fund at $148,000. Year 2 comes around. Our actuaries crunch the numbers. Out goes the letter. Mr. Client, congratulations. It's time to fund the plan for 2018. Minimum required is $1,000 and change. Your maximum is just under $162,000. Please fund somewhere within this range. Again, the target was $119,000. Client had another really good year and decides to do level funding. Year 3, same process. Look at the minimum. Look at the maximum. There is flexibility here. I would never encourage your client to skip a year of funding. If that is something that they ask, I typically tell them they're not a good candidate for this type of plan. Defined benefit plans are permanent and ongoing plans, and they require ongoing funding. What the Pension Protection Act did is it created a surplus account. That surplus account is basically the cushion that you see here. When the surplus account is fully funded, it gives you the maximum cushion, and if you did skip a year, you would deplete the surplus, and guess what year 4 would look like? Year 4 would look more like year 1. Your minimums would shoot back up. If your client, and I understand nobody has a crystal ball, if your client ran into some trouble, I would encourage them to contribute as much as they could, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, something, so that year 4 is not so drastic and scary. But this is something we talk about up front. We need to know that the client is comfortable with making these ongoing contributions. And that's why it's hard to find a defined benefit client. But when you do, oh, they work so well. Excuse me. Next, we're going to talk about a defined benefit plan. Gentleman's 44. He wants to retire at 62, which, by the way, is the lowest retirement age I can show. He's making $125. When he retires at 62, he wants to receive a guaranteed income of $125 a year, which is $10,416 a month. All right. We're going to use a 412 plan. The reason why we're using a 412 plan is it's known as a fully insured or fully guaranteed defined benefit plan. The way that we do that is we use fixed products. because fixed products have guarantees in them. So if we're just using a fixed annuity in order to meet his needs, that $125 a year for the rest of his life, the annuity deposit on an annual basis would be just over $84,000, and you get commission on that every year. What if we wanted to sweeten the pot a little? We want to put life insurance in there. Again, it's a permanent plan. Again, it is an insured plan, a fully guaranteed plan. So we are using whole life insurance. Why? It's guaranteed. So the price of the plan does not increase by the premium. That's not true. It's a misnomer. Here we go. $2.5 million of face. $42,000 annual life premium. You get full commission on that. Did y'all hear me? Full commission on that life premium. There's the annuity deposit. It decreases to just under $53,000. The plan now is roughly $95,000. So again, the plan's budget did not increase by the premium. Here's the breakdown. Without insurance versus with insurance is about $10,500. Assuming a 30% tax bracket, the after-tax difference is $7,000. So, Mr. Client, for an additional $7,000 a year, how about we stack in there $2.5 million of life coverage? Not bad, huh? This is one of our sales pieces. It's called the $1 Million Sales Idea. In this case, we're doing a normal retirement age of 62. We're doing standard rates, non-smoker, sorry. And here's just a couple examples. So what are we doing here? The defined benefit plan, again, fully guaranteed, fully insured. We solve for $1 million at retirement. We solve so that at age 62, excuse me, the lump sum benefit for the client is $1 million. Mr. Client, when you turn 62, we're going to write you a check for $1 million. Guaranteed. And what we're also going to do is we're going to purchase $1 million life policy inside the plan as well. If the client unfortunately does not make it to retirement, guess what? His beneficiaries get $1 million. Why? Because we bought $1 million life policy. If he makes it to 62, guess what? Well, we designed the plan to fund $1 million. So at 62, we're going to write him a check for $1 million. Again, $1 million guaranteed, live or die. And this isn't static. You know, we can bend. How about $500,000 guaranteed, live or die? $250,000. How about $2 million? We can swing the pendulum. We can meet their needs and their goals and their budget. So as I mentioned earlier, we want to keep this process very simple for you. Complete our proposal request and census form and send it in. We don't want you to be the expert. I don't want you to go in there and say, hey, Mr. Client, you need a 401k plan. Because I don't want to come back and say, actually, this plan works better. Go in and say, look, I'm going to give this to my experts. They're going to come back with a customized design just for you. It's going to meet your goals and your needs. It's going to meet your budget. You get that census, you send it in to us, give us 2 or 3 days, we will turn around a proposal to you. Then we'll have a phone call. And we will discuss what we designed, why we designed, how it designed, why it worked, what's it worked, what does it do, how does it do it. If you want to present it to the client, I will make sure you're ready to make the presentation. If you want me to present it to the client, that's fine. Let's set up a conference call. I'm happy to do it. I'm not the only plan designer here, and I'll show you the team at the end of the presentation. So whether you want to present it or whether you want me to present it, because I'm sure that y'all remember the first time you wrote a life policy. Did you fill in all the blanks the first time correctly? Did you have to call the back office and ask them a bunch of questions? Were you nervous? I understand. I do this every day. And I'm sure when you write life policies now, you're old hat at it. It's easy. You've done it before. You've done it hundreds of times. So on your first plan, your second plan, your third plan, as you're getting the hang of it, I'm here for you. Maybe you decide that you're going to present it to the client, but halfway through the presentation, the client asks you a question. Give us a call. That's why we're here. We are your support. We're here to help you in every way we can. Our fees are very reasonable. We specialize in the small business market, so this is for 25 lives or less. So the great thing about this is, let's say the client has 5 employees. Well, his annual fees aren't going to change until the business grows to 25 employees. We want them to grow. We want them to succeed. We're not going to change the fees on them. Once they get over 25 lives, we do change the fee, and it's minimal. It's additional $10 per person. So if you have 26 people, you know, okay, it's $10 more a year. It's not a big deal. But my point is, we do larger plans. We have plans on the books for the 100 lives. We have a few that have even 200 lives on them. So just because the company has 30 people, don't think that we're not available. One-time setup fee, due upfront with the paperwork, non-refundable. The annual fee we will charge at the end of the year. Okay, now, our 401k plan and our traditional defined benefit plan use our WealthQuest 3 product. It is a non-registered group variable annuity. Now, you can sell it with an insurance license. You don't have to be securities licensed. 3 exceptions. State of New York. No one does business in the state of New York. Massachusetts and Connecticut. For some weird reason, Massachusetts and Connecticut have said, you know what, I understand you're a non-registered product, but we still require our guys to have a securities license. Other 47, other 47 states, you don't need a securities license. You can offer this product with just your life license. Has over 52 accounts in there with 6 different fund managers, and you can transfer amongst them as often and as frequently as you like. There is no penalty. So you just set up a 401k plan for your client. There's 50 investment choices, and your client's going to come to you and say, okay, now that I've got this in place, I need to invest my money. And this roadmap is Greek to me. Where do I put my money? Well, as we just established, you only have a life license. You don't have a securities license. You should not answer that question. With the new DOL regs, you really should not answer that question. So what do? We've teamed with Morningstar. The client can sign the Morningstar contract for no fee. There is no fee to the employer to sign the Morningstar contract. What is it? Morningstar, big company, rate all the mutual funds. Don't know if you've heard of them before. They will sign on as a fiduciary, and each individual can go online, log into their 401k account, hit the Morningstar link, fill out their risk assessment questionnaire, and Morningstar will come back with a suggested portfolio of investments for them. You know, typically about half a dozen to a dozen funds. One time free. You can take their advice or leave it. One time free. Now, maybe you got a lot of life-changing events coming up. You're about to get married, or you're about to have a child, or a kid's about to go to college, or a kid's graduating college, whatever the case may be. You want professional and ongoing money management, not this one-time free thing. That's fine. At that point, as I said, Morningstar signs on as a fiduciary to that particular participant's account, and that particular participant is charged 50 basis points, 1/2 of 1% to manage their dollars. Let them make this, ask those and answer those questions. You don't want to. You shouldn't. Qualified plans, most qualified plans that have at least one employee are required to file their taxes every year, just like we are. Ours is called the 1040, theirs is called the 5500. These are just databases that compile 5500s. You can go to one of these databases, put in your zip code, and every single 5500 in that zip code pops up. How big the plan is, how old the plan is, how much money is in the plan, how many people are in the plan. It gives you some rudimentary information so you're not walking in blind. And sometimes it makes the difference at the sale. Some of these websites are free, and they do have a pay side as well. Some of these are pay only, but they're great resources. So at American National, we're a turnkey solution. It's one of the reasons why the DOL regs don't scare us. We haven't left the industry. You know how many of our competitors have left the industry because of the new DOL regs? It's great for us. We welcome it. We're still in business. I get calls every day. Are y'all still doing this? Yeah, we're here. We're still doing it. It's a full suite of products, 401k, defined benefit. It doesn't matter. One-stop shop. Plan design, implementation, website, product, investments. Everything is done in-house. It's one of our advantages. It's how we keep our fees so low. So we've talked about a lot today. Possibility of life insurance inside the plan. 401k plans. That includes taking over plans. Again, just because they have a plan, don't walk away. There's a lot of potential here. Qualified plan in America, it's a lot. Over $5 trillion. Do you have a wheelbarrow big enough for that? How about 1% of it? How about 1/10 of 1% of it? It is a huge underserviced market. And if you believe the government, everybody should have one. I think everyone should have one personally, but maybe I'm a little biased. I don't know. So this is our team. Don Franklin's my boss. And you can see between the 5 of us, I mean, you know, we've all got a good, long, storied history in qualified plans and well over 100 years experience between the 5 of us. If I don't know the answer to a question, I'll let you know. And then I'll go outside and go and get it because I'll go and talk to one of my colleagues. Here's our website. We want to keep it simple. Everything is available on our website. Brochures, documentation, everything that you need is there. With that being said, call Jim, call me. I'll get all the answers and questions. I'll answer all the questions you have. All right. I want to thank everyone for joining me today. And Jim, thank you very much for having me on. I don't know if we have time for questions or if there are any questions, but Jim, if you're back on the line.
I am, and thank
Awesome.
thank you very much. I don't have any questions from agents at this time, but I do have a question, or maybe just wanted to bounce this off at you because I will get this question often: is what kind of product training is there in order to sell the pension program?
Great question, and thank you very much for asking. So on our the only thing that's required, and it's not an American National, meaning it's not American National training, is there is a 4-hour training course for annuities. Some people call it annuity suitability training, but it's not. It's just it's retirement annuity training. You can go to Circon or something like that. It's a 4-hour annuity course, and that is the only requirement. And if you're doing a 412, it doesn't apply. It only applies to the WealthQuest product because it's a group annuity.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Well, and everything that we work with in all of our carriers now, of course, there's a product training for any annuity that's sold. So I know that question will come up, and thanks for answering that. I wanted to thank you again, and also while I have an opportunity to ask this question, if any of you would like to get more information about American National's pension program, or like to get any contracting information, or if you've got contracting set up with us here at IAMS now and would like to add American National as one of your carriers, let me know. We'd be glad to get you the information. I'm very familiar with the pension website, which is wonderful. It's got great pieces on there, both for consumer and for agent. They have, which I've already utilized, some pre-approved ads that you can get personalized that promote the pension program, and they're very professional looking. So great website. And but if you'd like to get a prospecting guide or something that you want to see that you can walk into the business and approach the business owner with, they have some great professionally put pieces out there. I'm not saying it right, but you know what I mean. If you'd like to get more information about it or get appointed and add American National as one of your carriers, let me know, and we'll make sure that that gets done. And I do want to thank you, Jonathan, for the time today. Very informative as always. And as questions come along, I'm sure I'll be calling you, or we may have some producers calling you, or both. But we want to thank you for your time today. And thanks again, Jonathan. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me. Y'all have a wonderful week.
Thank you. Take care now.